Meghan Markle drama is only getting worse as we speak, not just with Netflix, but also within the entire film industry, within the entire Hollywood bubble, as she is desperately trying to keep her acting career alive and well. This is exactly why she's very self-absorbed, very narcissistic in nature, is because she believes that she deserves everything in this industry, no matter what, even if all the projects that she has worked on have failed miserably one after the other, especially all of her projects with Netflix. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Meghan Markle for sure is that a lot of people are beginning to wake up about who she really is. Even people that may have never heard about her are just now learning about who Meghan Markle really is, what she's all about, what kind of nonsense she spews out there when defending her show With Love Meghan, and just how terrible and abysmal those reviews truly were. As we discussed weeks and weeks ago, the multiple test screenings that took place for that show failed one after the other, and it really did resonate with the fact that you have actual people that tried to give the show a chance, and even they couldn't even watch it. Now, focusing on Meghan Markle in particular, there's a lot of things going on between herself and her acting career, and why it's beginning to tumble to a degree that we have never seen before, because all of this is rooted with her issues at Netflix, all of the drama that she created over there, both internally and in the public eye, mind you. There's a lot of problems going on in different areas, like herself and Greg Peters, herself and some of the board of directors that are now beginning to turn against her that once supported her. Moving on. However, what's really intriguing about all this is that with the Meghan Markle drama issues with Netflix only getting more complex for the many executives in the board, one massive development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle, where she is already beginning to strike back at a major Hollywood studio after getting fired by HBO, where she was supposed to land a major contract deal for HBO Max to create a series called Motivated by Meghan, which was going to focus on both fitness and yoga, as we discussed some weeks ago, but there's more to this story. The main reason why HBO CEO decided to axe this project altogether, and how all the board members agreed with him, and of course how they all related, to the overall decision to actually go through with this overall scenario to just ditch Meghan Markle, is that Meghan Markle created the behind-the-scenes drama at Netflix, but also how large the ratings disaster was over at Netflix and the backlash was surrounding her series is essentially what influenced HBO to make this call. Already, Meghan Markle is now taking extra steps with her agent and manager to creating a legal battle with HBO for canceling her project Motivated by Meghan, as the cancellation now has been finalized, whereas beforehand it was still in the works of cancellation. Now, with the series now officially dead, already Meghan Markle is putting full blame on the HBO CEO for acting very misogynistic toward her and falling into the false narratives coming from the right. It's best described that Meghan Markle fell into political arguments as well with HBO after her firing. Now guys, let me just stop here for one moment. The fact that she's blaming politics, in particular those that are on the right within politics, just goes to show you how out of touch with reality Meghan Markle truly is. The main reason why people don't want to work with her anymore is that she's very insufferable, she's narcissistic, difficult to work with, and quite frankly, nobody wants to see Meghan Markle in anything. Not a movie, not a TV show, not a podcast, a radio show. They don't want to hear her or see her in anything. That's just the reality of the situation. She has little to no fans in 2025. Now, where she blamed the HBO executives for canceling her HBO Max series based on her political views is basically what her claim was and her opinions. The drama recently got even worse between not just herself but also HBO, where she is now planning to create a wide statement about her falling out with HBO on her new podcast that's currently in the works, along with other people's podcasts that are said to be widely popular. Markle is essentially planning to expose HBO for canceling her show, and is planning to show her side of the story, and is also planning a legal route to take against HBO. However, in reality, get this, her contract was never officially finalized with HBO for their streaming service HBO Max. HBO HBO CEO also had deep issues with her demeanor and her behavior during the multiple pitch meetings that they had. In fact, it was Meghan Markle that demanded her show would be called Motivated by Meghan, where HBO wanted to label the show called and labeled as Fitness with Meghan Markle. Markle is planning to take the extra legal steps toward HBO in the next 2 months. However, HBO's legal team already informed Markle that she has no case and that anything that she is in pursuit of will be of wasted time and energy on her part. And you know what, guys? It's true. She really has no case here. The contract was never officially finalized or closed. It was never really concrete per se. They were on the cusp of completing it. Yes, it was pretty much a done deal, but it was never in signing. It was never just a closed deal. It was never actually something where the executives, the board, and the CEO could just say, yep, we got the show all set and ready to go. Let's begin filming on this particular date. There were a lot of setbacks with the series. There were a lot of arguments that actually created a lot of chaos where the contract deal did not get finalized for that very reason because of Meghan Markle creating those setbacks. For example, like I just listed, of her coming up with the name of the show, Motivated by Meghan. That was her idea, that she eventually convinced HBO to cave to that overall idea, but what they really wanted was to call it Fitness with Meghan Markle, alright? Which sounds, I think, a little bit better than her idea. That's just my take on things, but moving onwards here, she continues, of course. Now, this is where it gets worse. Markle also has another podcast in the works as we speak that will focus on troubled celebrities that will be announced soon, where Markle is set to also expose her issues herself in Hollywood with, of course, many other studios over the past couple of months. This is all happening in the midst of Markle's career essentially imploding before her very own eyes, where even commercial studios no longer want to work with her. For example, she was supposed to represent Universal Studios' Epic Universe. That gig also fell apart due to her behavior behind the scenes at Universal. We talked about this too. She was supposed to get some commercial roles with Geico, Universal, Carnival Cruise Lines, just to name a few there. That was basically her backup plan. If movies and television did not go well for her, she would revert to commercials, and that's not even working well at all. And I can understand why. I mean, this is how difficult she is to work with. She is just trying to use those platforms or use those avenues to be seen on television is what it really boils down to. And that's not what you really do it for in that business. You do it for the passion that you have. You do it for, the love of filmmaking or, the art and craft of getting engaged in a television program or the concept of acting and how you could perfect your art. That's what it's really all about with a lot of these real actors and actresses. She's basically just a wannabe actress that wants to be seen and be heard all the time, is what it's really all about. That's basically the best way to describe her. Now, again, we know that her overall legal route toward HBO, I will say it right here, and I'll say it once more because I mentioned it multiple times. But she really does have no legal case. HBO is completely right on this. There's no contract deal there that was set in stone per se. There was really no thing that was really concrete for her to really go through that legal route. And she really can't essentially say that they were being very misogynistic toward her. They have a full right to ditch Meghan Markle based on their view of what happened over at Netflix and, quite frankly, what's been happening with a lot of her, her behavior toward other studios, whether it was Universal, etc., etc. So anyway, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.